Assassin's Creed season. Yeah, Josh Shaw's here. Ty Root's here. I'm here.
Hi, Danny.
We've all played Assassin's Creed Syndicate this week. We did a bunch on a live stream, Ty.
You taught me cricket.
I did. I taught you how to play cricket.
Thank you.
It's very important. You shoot the person who gets bowled out.
Who's out, yeah.
Or caught out.
In the
Either
face.
way, it's fine. Josh, I think you played a lot more than that.
I actually did. I ended up playing it like all weekend.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
Wow. What percentage are you at?
Like 28. Or
Oh, wow, you're way ahead of me.
Yeah, you're flying.
Yeah, I'm on sequence 4, maybe 5 now.
Okay, yeah, we're not allowed to talk about some specifics later in the game.
I won't talk.
We can't talk, yeah.
But let's talk generally. So Assassin's Creed, okay, first of all, let's all like, you know, let's just put it out there, our own Assassin's Creed histories. So, Josh, are you a fan of the series?
Yeah,
Where
I haven't played every Assassin's Creed, but I did play 1, and then I thought 2 came along and fixed like everything I had a problem with on 1. I played like a little bit of 3, and then 4 was cool with Black Flag.
Yeah.
Or, it wasn't called 4, right? I forget.
No, Black Flag, and then, yeah, it was 4.
Really messy with the numbers.
Yeah.
3 I didn't like, 4 was cool, and then this one I'm kind of into. Unity I didn't touch though.
Okay.
Or Rogue.
Ty.
I might be the only person here that liked 1.
Oh, I liked 1 too.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
okay, so...
I thought it was cool, just
Yeah.
it
Yeah,
had
I mean,
issues.
obviously...
Yeah, rough.
It's the same way I look at Mass Effect, right? Like the first one had problems, but I still loved it. I still like Assassin's Creed 1. I like that time period. 2, like Josh, loved. Played Brotherhood, did not play Revelations.
Yeah.
Skipped that. Played 3, huge American history buff.
Yeah.
So I tried to get into it, but there were some problems there. Did not like Black Flag.
Okay.
I was kind of, it just didn't fit for me.
Yeah.
And the whole Abstergo story and everything just wasn't there. And then Unity played about maybe 10 hours of.
Okay.
And,
You played more Unity than I have.
Did I? Okay.
Yeah. I loved 1, 2.
Anyone I know.
Yeah, exactly, right? It's like the same story. It's like, I loved 1.
But the French Revolution's cool.
Yeah,
so,
totally.
yeah.
I loved 1, I loved 2, I loved Brotherhood. Revelation, same thing.
Yeah.
Played maybe 15 hours, got sick of it.
Yeah.
3 I wanted to like, didn't really get into.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I was a huge like U.S. History buff at the time as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I didn't understand anything that was going on.
Yeah.
Oh, I loved it. I mean, I liked the way they portrayed Washington is very. I think they did their homework on that. Like he's taught in school here in the States that he's like this renowned leader and that he was like amazing and awesome and 9 times out of 10, no one's going to talk shit about George Washington.
Hey,
but
we're not here to talk about George Washington.
No.
We're here to talk about Charles goddamn Dickens.
and Florence Nightingale.
And Florence Nightingale, all the weird people in
Alexander
London.
Graham Bell.
So like, I'm also not a fan, exactly. I'm also not a fan of Unity, and then I kind of want this one to be good.
Yeah,
And I think
so do I.
right at the gate, I was not a fan of the early tutorial missions. It feels to me like the storytelling in these games has become so wayward. It was way too bombastic, way too explosive, and sort of sure of itself. But then once it opened up into London, the first thing I thought was like the actual environment of London is pretty spectacular.
It's amazing. It's really they did their homework here too. I mean, you can tell that they actually had a lot to go off here. Like when they made London and they made the boroughs and everything else, they had pictures, they had photographs, they were able to recreate
this is the first
everything.
time they had pictures.
Yeah. First time, in the history.
All the other ones were too old to have pictures,
Yeah.
so they could use those references.
Yeah.
So now they have like a good reference point, right? They can recreate London the way they want to. Obviously, it's not 1-to-1, but at the same time, it's like it
It's
doesn't
pretty
need to be.
The whole
It's accurate,
part
though.
from Westminster up to Trafalgar Square, Whitehall, and Buckingham Palace is actually like I was just walking around going, oh, I bet horse card parade's right here, and it was right there. So, Josh, what did you think of how it?
I did. I mean, it's kind of funny that they've had so many of these games and they force you through these tutorials, and it's like, why? We know how to play the game. Just like set us in the open world and let us explore something is like a bit of a frustrating start. But at the end of the day, I was like, it's a pretty cool game. I had no hope for this. Like Unity looked pretty rough, and I was like, I'll just try it out and capture the footage. But like I was pretty into it, and like I don't know. I think that they did it. This was the second time they used the Unity engine, right?
Yeah.
So they could polish it over the year. Sure, there were glitches, but they weren't like. They were just normal game glitches. They weren't like those horrible.
Yeah.
Glitches are going to happen in an open world.
It kind of looks fresher. It looks a little bit more restrained as well. Like it's not. I'm looking forward to seeing what it looks like on PC when it's out in November. What did you think about the actual missions? So I guess me and Ty we've gone around the same length into the game, like not that long. Like
about
maybe,
5% through.
Okay, yeah, I'm probably around that as well.
Yeah.
I played a bunch more yesterday. So you're a bit further on. What do you think of the missions? Because I was finding them quite like basic early on already, Josh.
It was weird. It was really frustrating to me because I like to play it stealth style.
Yeah.
And there's one thing I've always hated about Assassin's Creed, which is when you walk down the street in your normal clothes,
Yeah.
and every guard's like, hey, you stop.
And in this place, you go anywhere, and it's just people giving you shit.
Everywhere. And they introduced a cool mechanic where you can like put on your hood and go into stealth mode. And I thought like they'd see you then
I'm
and
glad
then
you have a hood,
recognize you. And then like that would be suspicious. But if you were just walking around in your normal top hat, why are they recognizing you? Like everyone in London knows who these twins are, and that just ruins it for me.
But you're not even from London.
Yeah,
you're
you
from
just
like
showed up and everyone's
someone.
like, Jacob, Evie, the Fries, these secret assassins.
I'm still waiting for someone to be like, Assassino! Just come after you, But like, I agree with Josh. It's a little, I don't understand why they still
ruins the stealth
do that.
for me a little.
But what about the actual
As far
like
as
sort
the
of
missions,
the
I
missions
think
like?
sometimes there are some cool like heist style ones. Like some of the more like sequence enders, like it'll show you like cool ways to beat it. Like you can pretend to be dead or something and like kind of beat the mission that way. The stealth stuff though, like there were just some of those quick ones where it's like sneak into here, and it was like I had to find this clue at a pillar. And it's like, okay, I could come back at any time of day, but she decides to do it while the enemies were giving a speech at the pillar. It was like all roped off, and it's like, why would I need to do this right now?
Yeah.
There's no reason to do it. I tried it over and over and over again, trying to stealth my way in, and then eventually like had all my like gang members like attack the guards, and I threw smoke bombs everywhere and went in. Oh, and then one by one, I whistled and had the guys come over, and I assassinated them into the haystack. And it was like, this is not the most satisfying way you could do this.
Totally. I think like that's a really good point that I've experienced as well, is that like I feel like all the time there's like one way to complete these missions, and you gotta do it that way. And coming out of like The Witcher 3 and like Metal Gear Solid, it feels like really straight. I don't feel like I have the freedom to figure out how to solve anything. It's like, oh no, you wanna kill all these people, then you just better do it.
I just felt like I was doing it right, but it wasn't working.
Yeah.
I felt like I was stealthing how I was supposed to, but they'd still see me or whatever, and it didn't feel good. And also, like, sometimes weird things happen, and it's like, that worked out all right. But in Metal Gear, it was set up to work like that.
Yeah.
And in this, it's just like, oh, it looks like the game didn't stop this cool thing from happening.
And the other thing, Ty, you were mentioning before, which was that in we talked about it, I think, on Monday. In Metal Gear Solid, and it's hard to like keep comparing it, but like this definitely does feel like sort of a different, like an old type of open world game as opposed to what we've seen with The Witcher and Metal Gear. But in those games, whenever you got caught by the guards, it felt like, oh, everything's changed. It's like it's a charged situation, and now I have to like figure out a way of beating them that way. Whereas in this, you just mash square to kill them all, and then people who are like 20 feet away didn't even notice.
You can kill like 30 guys, and then it's like, okay, you're clear.
Yeah.
It's weird because I think the formula for most Assassin's games is like you get caught, you piss off a guard, or you piss off a bunch of guards. You look for that line out, right? It's like that one line, and there's multiple paths you can take, but you have to go hide, right? You have to climb a building, you have to parkour over a wall, hop on a pole. In this one, it's kind of cool because you can hop on a carriage,
hop on a pole,
hop on a train.
Never find me on that. Well, have you guys gotten the zip lines yet?
No, see that I haven't even gotten that yet, but I've seen it.
Because that does change a lot.
Yeah.
I didn't think I'd like it, but it's really cool.
Yeah, you hit L1 and it basically like Batman hooks.
You can either shoot straight up like up a building, and you can go like between buildings. So it's cool because if you're trying to take out guards in an area, you can air assassinate them, and then just like zip right back up, and then like scout out the next one. Or if he's in between buildings, you can like kind of climb across it, and then be right above him and air assassinate him. Like you can make the ledge for you to jump down from. Yeah, the doubles are great too. So it's.
I also love the skill points and using Jacob and Evie separately. Like you can fine tune them to your playstyle. So like if you want to approach a mission super stealth, you can. When Evie's better for that, then you can actually like kind of use your skill points to like level her up to a specific play style, and then you can use Jacob, who's like the over the top brute, right? Who's just gonna like fuck shit up and punch stuff around and like cause a ruckus. But there may be a mission that calls for that. So it does mix it up a little bit. I think it gives you variety. So that part's obviously, I think, is a bonus.
And from a plot side too, like they have kind of their own agendas, and so there'll be like separate missions for them.
Have you enjoyed the story? Because I've actually found the story to be quite not good at the start.
I've never enjoyed an Assassin's Creed story.
Oh, really?
Because they just jump around between individual characters so much. And I remember beating Black Flag, and I had no idea that was the end. It just happened, and it was like, wait, this is what I've been trying to do this whole time. It just keeps jumping from all these like weird like capes and like eyes and all this stuff. And I think it all happened at the end of like Revelations, so I missed a lot. But they just don't focus enough on what's going on with the characters.
It's interesting. I'm actually quite surprised that you're into it and you played so much of it over the weekend. I think one of the points you made though definitely resonated with me, which is that like I kind of went into this with low expectations. This feels to me like a game like Infamous Second Son or like Batman Arkham City, where they're like, oh, it's that old style of like, here's a bunch of stuff to do in a map. There's gonna be a certain amount of repetition. There's not that many like side questy stuff. It's kind of just like an old style open world game and have fun with it. Yeah. As opposed to like what we've seen with other open world games this year, where it's been like dynamic storytelling and like, you know, having crazy different like ways of attacking bases and emerging gameplay. It doesn't have that. You know?
And that's what's going to be interesting, I think, about this particular game, and to see how different it is and how well it does financially and how many units it actually sell. Because the previous games, like with Rogue and Unity, you're talking like 10 million units, I think, across both.
Right.
Unity was the first Assassin's that was specifically for the Xbox One and PS4. Then they made Rogue out for the previous gen. So now will this match that sale total?
It definitely feels like a game like an annual franchise at this stage, where it's like it's not really
such a formula.
Yeah, it's a formula. Yeah.
And we'll know now. Like we'll see how many units it pushes when it releases next week.
Just what you're saying about open world though is like I don't play this like an open world where I like walk around and see what's going on in the park.
Yeah.
I was like, I'll go rescue these kids from this factory. I'll go like take out this base, and like each of those little things, I had some fun like stealthing around it.
Yeah.
As far as open world though, it's still not believable. It doesn't have that GTA charm.
It's completely unbelievable. You're fucking ramming down, like these horses can take lampposts to the face like I've never seen.
There's a little collectible, it says like wanton destruction or something.
Yeah.
Have you seen that? So once I realized like, oh, I can get that by doing lampposts, I just ride down the sidewalk now. Just knock them down, boom, 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 boom. And it's a horse running through like hundreds, and trees too, and it's...
Like people are just like gormless idiots. Like there's dead bodies in the street, and they're like, whatever.
What was that thing over the bridge yesterday?
I was trying to throw dead bodies over the bridge. Oh yeah, there was just 3 people walking towards me in the middle of the bridge, like enemies, and I threw a knife at one of them in his face. He died, and the other 2 people were just like chatting to each other. And there's like a dead dude on the ground. Then I killed the 2 of them, and this guy in like a horse goes up, and he just stops in front of them, like, I can't get past here.
He's like, move.
Yeah, so I picked up the bodies and tried and throw them over the bridge, and he's like waiting for me to pick up the last body. It's like, yeah.
In like GTA, people would be screaming and running everywhere, and it's like there's
it's that attention to detail that lacks sometimes.
It has the environmental attention to detail.
It does.
But you're right, it does not feel like a mod. It's not an open world where you're wandering around thinking like, ooh, I wonder what I'll see around this corner.
Yeah.
It's like it'll be another dozen idiot Londoners.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
it'll be a guard yelling, "Hey, you! If you don't walk away, then I'm gonna chase you.
I'm gonna knock your block," or something like that.
Okay.
I mean, I still want to.
So then you sprint away, and he's like, "Okay."
Okay.
I did my deed for the day.
It's really weird. It's like they think you're an assassin. They think you're fucking with them, and it's only when you sprint away that they're like, "Oh, it's fine."
Okay, cool.
Yeah. If you just act normal, they're like still giving you shit in the middle of the street.
If they were so recognizable, they'd wear disguises. Like, I don't understand why they're just walking around where every enemy knows their faces and their clothes.
Yeah. That was the one thing that that I guess it bothers me in a lot of Assassin's games, but just the NPCs, they all just look the same. Like the guys that are after you.
Dude, I don't know how many like bald, burly guys that.
Is there one girl model with the like short hair, and she's on your team or the enemy team? They just change the color of her clothes.
Yeah, so there's
the bald brute guy.
Yeah, and so that's another thing. They have all the different types of enemies, right? They have like the big brute guy. They have the sniper. They have the scout. And if you fight any of them, you mash square and then dodge. And press X if they have the gray bar, and mash square.
Yeah,
it doesn't
press
matter.
X when it literally says X above their head.
Yeah,
like
it doesn't matter who it is. You just press those same buttons and they'll die.
Yeah, combat's not great either. But it's like.
But it's brawler,
if you go in with like expectations of what this game is, it is an open world, like interesting setting. It's not really pushing the boat,
I don't want to
moving the needle.
The challenges are fun. Like the missions have like kind of bonus challenges, and I don't get all of them, but I aim for those, and that kind of gives me like that collector attitude.
And I don't even want to knock it too much on the combat. I mean, the thing is, it's.
Oh, I hate the combat.
But it's representative of the time of that era. Like no one has swords anymore. Like no one does that stuff. So it's like. You have to adapt, right?
But
you have brass knuckles now, and
but you can punch in The Witcher, but you still have to like block and like move.
I guess that's true.
Whereas in this, it's just like Evie with her stick, just going.
It's kind of cool though.
Like,
She has some cool animations though. There was some cool stuff that I was doing with Evie like 2 days ago, where like she has like these awesome executions that I thought were
Some
like
of those
rad.
finishing moves. When you
Yeah.
have like 2 at once and she like
Yeah,
throws
it's
the knife
just-
in the eye and kills
I
the
got
other guy.
really like I just remember like Altair and like the first game where it's like you work so hard to
man.
kill one person, and by the time you're done with the tutorial with both those characters, I'd murdered like 50 fucking
They
people.
expected you to run in the first one.
Like these people, yeah, but like now these people are just sociopaths.
And honestly,
like you've
Evie-
killed thousands of
Well, I mean,
people.
It's kind of
And
like games in general.
But it's like I remember like in the first games it was like, oh, this is like an invading army. Whereas like now they're just like street thugs. So these are just Londoners who've got families, and you're just like
and you're
they're
like
gangs.
super elite, yeah.
and then why are you doing it? For your gang, which is
Yeah.
doing the same thing.
Also, I killed a guy and then I like moved the camera and there were just 2 kids like looking at it, and I'm like, I'm supposed to be a good guy, but I just like walk away.
Yeah.
It's okay, Timmy.
The kids
it's
are the
okay.
most crime-ridden thing in this entire game.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's our, I guess, impressions of Assassin's Creed Syndicate.
But it was all right.
Yeah,
I don't want to bash it. It's fun
not
too, but it's
not a
fine.
bad game
Yeah.
at all. I don't think. I think it's just it's Assassin's Creed. It's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
And
in
if you
Victorian
like it,
London.
this is a pretty good one too.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, I think if you know what an Assassin's Creed game is at this stage, you kind of know what Syndicate is.
Yeah.
But our official review will be up on the site, I believe Wednesday midnight is when it's getting
I think it's
posted.
like Thursday.
No, it's
4
Thursday
a.m.
at 4 a.m.
Thursday, 4 a.m. Okay,
Yeah,
so
Pacific.
pretty soon. So make sure you go back to
Set your alarm
GameSpot.com if
clock.
you want to see Alexa Ray Korea's review of that for GameSpot.com.